The moment Ryan Carter opened the message, the world around him seemed to freeze. Just seconds earlier, he had been laughing. Soft music played in the background of the luxury beach resort suite. The curtains were half open, letting golden sunlight spill across the polished marble floor. The ocean waves moved peacefully outside, calm and endless. Sophia stood near the balcony, wearing a silk robe, smiling as she sipped her expensive champagne. Ryan felt proud of the life he was living. He believed he had everything under control. His phone vibrated again. At first, he ignored it. He did not want anything to interrupt this perfect weekend. But when he saw the sender's name, Emma Carter, his expression slightly changed. His pregnant wife rarely called him anymore. Their conversations had become short and distant over the past few months. He opened the notification carelessly. Then his smile disappeared. It was not a message. It was a legal document. Petition for divorce. For a few seconds, he simply stared at the screen, not fully understanding what he was reading. His mind refused to process it. Divorce. Emma. That was impossible. Emma was gentle, emotional, dependent. She needed him. Another file followed. Property division notice. His heartbeat suddenly grew louder in his ears. Sophia walked back inside and noticed his pale face. "What happened?" she asked softly. Ryan did not answer. His fingers felt cold. He opened the document fully now. His name. Emma's name. Official signatures. Legal stamps. This was real. Emma had filed for divorce. Emma, who was 7 months pregnant with his child. Confusion filled his mind. When had she done this? How long had she been planning? Why did he not see it coming? He had always believed she would cry, argue, beg if she ever found out about Sophia. He expected drama, not silence. He expected weakness, not action. But this was something else. Ryan slowly sat down on the edge of the bed, staring at the ocean outside. For the first time that weekend, the view no longer looked beautiful. It looked distant, empty. And suddenly, so did his life. Months before the divorce papers arrived, the cracks in Ryan and Emma's marriage had already begun to show. In the beginning, Ryan had been excited about the pregnancy. He had promised Emma he would always protect her and their baby. But slowly, things began to change. Work became his favorite excuse. Meetings ran late. Business trips became longer. His phone was always in his hand, but his attention was never on his wife. Emma was 7 months pregnant now. Her body was tired. Her emotions were sensitive. Some nights she could not sleep because of back pain. Other nights she cried quietly for no clear reason, simply overwhelmed by the changes happening inside her. She did not need expensive gifts. She needed him. But Ryan was rarely home. When he was, he seemed distracted. He would sit beside her but scroll through his phone. When she tried to talk about baby names or doctor appointments, he would respond with short answers. Later, "Emma. I'm tired." She noticed the perfume on his shirts, not hers. She noticed how he smiled at his phone but not at her. She noticed how quickly he locked his screen when she entered the room. Still, she stayed quiet at first. She told herself she was imagining things. Pregnancy makes women emotional, she thought. Maybe he really was just stressed from work. But the distance kept growing. Ryan had started spending more time with Sophia. Dinners, hotel weekends, secret laughs. With Sophia, he felt young and free. There were no responsibilities, no crying, no doctor visits. Only excitement. Meanwhile, Emma sat alone in their large house, eating dinner by herself. She would place her hand over her stomach and whisper softly to her unborn baby. That was the only company she truly had. The loneliness slowly replaced love. And without realizing it, Ryan was not just drifting away from his wife. He was abandoning her. The truth did not come with shouting or dramatic confrontation. It came quietly. One afternoon, while Ryan was in the shower after returning from a business trip, his phone lit up on the bedside table. Emma had not planned to look at it. She had never been the type to invade his privacy. But something inside her, a deep, tired instinct, pushed her to glance at the screen. A message preview appeared. I miss last weekend already. When can we escape again? Red heart hash, Sophia. Emma felt her chest tighten. Her hands did not shake. She did not cry. She simply unlocked the phone. There were pictures. Hotel confirmations. Conversations filled with affection. Words Ryan had not spoken to her in months. The truth was clear. For a long moment, she sat at the edge of the bed, staring at the evidence. The baby inside her moved gently, as if reminding her that she was not alone. When Ryan stepped out of the bathroom, Emma had already placed the phone back where it belonged. She looked at him calmly. He smiled casually, unaware that everything had changed. That night, Emma did not argue. She did not scream. She did not beg. Instead, something inside her became very still. The next morning, after Ryan left for work, Emma made a phone call. Within a week, she was sitting in a quiet office across from a lawyer. She listened carefully as he explained her rights, property division, custody arrangements, and financial protection. She asked clear questions. She took notes. She prepared copies of bank statements and property documents. She opened a separate account in her name. She secured her savings. She made sure her child would be protected. Each step was calm, careful, silent. At night, she no longer cried. She placed her hand on her stomach and made a promise to her baby. I will raise you with dignity, she whispered. Emma realized she deserved respect. She deserved peace. And she would not fight for a man who had already chosen someone else. She chose independence over humiliation. And she never looked back. Ryan drove home faster than he ever had before. The divorce papers still felt unreal in his hands. He kept telling himself there had to be a mistake. Maybe Emma was just trying to scare him. Maybe this was her way of asking for attention. But when he pulled into the driveway, something immediately felt wrong. The house was dark. No lights were on. No soft glow from the living room lamp Emma always kept lit at night. He stepped out of the car and noticed the silence first. No music. No television. No movement behind the curtains. His heart began to beat faster. He unlocked the front door and stepped inside. The house felt colder than usual. Emma, he called out. No answer. He walked into the living room. The couch pillows were gone. The small knitted blanket Emma used during her pregnancy was missing. The framed ultrasound picture that once sat proudly on the shelf was no longer there. The space looked clean. Too clean. He rushed upstairs to the bedroom. The closet doors were open. Half of the hangers were empty. Emma's dresses were gone. Her suitcase was missing. The bathroom shelves that once held her skincare and prenatal vitamins were cleared. Only his belongings remained. That was when it finally hit him. She was not threatening. She was leaving. Ryan sat heavily on the edge of the bed, staring at the empty closet. The silence in the room felt louder than any argument could have been. He grabbed his phone and called her. Once. Twice. 5 times. Straight to voicemail. He sent messages. Emma, we need to talk. Where are you? This isn't necessary. No reply. For the first time, he felt something close to fear. Later that evening, Sophia arrived, concerned after his short and distant replies earlier that day. She walked into the house, looking around at the half-empty space. What happened? She asked. Ryan explained quickly, frustration clear in his voice. She overreacted. It's just emotions. She'll calm down. But Sophia's expression shifted. This means lawyers, division, custody battles, she said slowly. That's messy, Ryan. Her tone was no longer playful or romantic. It was cautious. Ryan noticed it immediately. The excitement in her eyes, the thrill of secrecy and luxury, was gone. In its place was discomfort. Suddenly, he understood something painful. Sophia loved the version of him who was powerful and in control. Not the man sitting in an empty house, facing legal consequences. That night, Ryan walked through the silent rooms alone. He saw the nursery Emma had carefully prepared. The small crib. The folded baby clothes. The stuffed animal on the chair. He realized he did not even know where his pregnant wife was staying. He had been so confident she would never leave. So certain she needed him more than he needed her. But Emma had planned everything quietly. She had protected herself. And now, he was the one left standing in the emptiness. For the first time, Ryan understood something clearly. He had never truly known how strong his wife was. And now, it was too late. Emma moved into a small but bright apartment on the other side of the city. It was not as large as the house she had shared with Ryan, but it felt peaceful. Sunlight entered through wide windows each morning, and for the first time in months, she felt like she could breathe. She arranged the nursery carefully. The crib stood near the window. Soft white curtains moved gently with the breeze. On the wall, she placed a simple frame with one sentence written inside. *, we are enough. *. Emma no longer waited for late-night apologies or empty promises. Her days were now filled with doctor visits, preparing baby clothes, and working remotely on projects she had once paused for her marriage. She had always been talented in her field, but she had placed her dreams aside to support Ryan's ambitions. Now, she focused on rebuilding her own. When her son was born, she held him close and felt a strength she had never known before. She was not afraid anymore. She was not alone. Ryan, however, struggled with the silence she left behind. After weeks of unanswered calls, he finally received a short message from her lawyer allowing him one meeting. It was arranged in a quiet cafe during the afternoon. When Emma walked in, Ryan barely recognized her. She looked calm, composed, strong. Motherhood had not weakened her, it had sharpened her. He stood up quickly. "Emma, please. We can fix this. I made mistakes. I was confused." Emma listened without interrupting. Her son slept peacefully in a stroller beside her. When Ryan finished speaking, she looked at him with steady eyes. "I am not angry anymore," she said softly. "But I cannot return to a place where I was not valued." Her words were not loud. They did not carry drama. They carried truth. Ryan felt something inside him collapse. For the first time, he understood that he had not lost her because of one mistake. He had lost her because he stopped seeing her worth. Emma stood up, gently adjusting the blanket over her baby. "I hope you become a good father," she added calmly. "But I will no longer be your wife." And with that, she walked away. Months later, Ryan often sat alone in the large, empty house he once thought was a symbol of success. The silence reminded him daily of what he had destroyed. Sometimes losing everything is the only way to understand someone's worth. And by the time Ryan understood Emma's value, she had already built a life where she no longer needed him.